Welcome back to Homesteading Off the Grid, the most popular homesteading channel on the entire internet that has absolutely nothing to do with homesteading. I want to thank everybody for your outpouring of support in regard to the video I made just yesterday as of this recording in regard to the inept busing situation in my child's county school system. Basically, just a quick recap. If you missed it, you can go back and watch it. They cut busing off to 1,000 children, and idiotically, they did it to the children who live furthest from the schools. So the kids that are literally within walking distance or whose parents could make a 5-minute drive to get them to school will receive busing, but those of us who live as far as half an hour or more, 40 minutes out away from the school, 45, do not. So we will be putting in up to 20 hours per week this entire upcoming school year to take our children to school in the mornings and go pick them up in the afternoons. It's a real fiasco. It's part of the equity, the decision, to my understanding, based upon a conversation I had with an actual school official. It was based on this idiotic concept of equity, which is a subparticle of the similar lunical idea of woke or wokeness. So that video I made in less than 24 hours, again, as of this recording, has had well over 100,000 views. I had no clue how much this woke stuff was affecting not just American society, but the world. We've been getting a lot of support from South Africa, European nations. I pride myself on turning off the noise, unplugging, untuning. I don't watch mainstream media. I don't watch any form of media. All it does is make me angry and make me sad. I focus on the life I have with my beautiful wife and our darling son. I'm into fitness. I'm a writer. I write. I love to read. I love the outdoors. I focus on living my life. We travel. We've been all over the place just this year alone. We love to go to concerts. I don't watch the news. I don't listen to the noise. I kind of live under a rock in regards to just about everything pop culture. And I guess from reading the comments, there's been like 600 comments in less than a day. I had no clue there was such a culture war going on in America, in the least, perhaps worldwide. And the rural lifestyle seems to be under attack, according to what I was reading. So I read a lot of really interesting comments in the comment section of that video, comments from retired teachers who had taught for more than 30 years, who said that if they had children in school today, there was no way they would let them go to the public schools because of that woke agenda that they were forced to be a part of as teachers. Many of them retired early because they didn't want to take part in it. A lot of folks are recommending that we homeschool. The problem with this is that they gave such short notice. They waited 2 weeks before school started to send out the mass email to these approximately 1,000 households, families, that's going to be affected by this. So it's insane. But when I talked about it, I didn't realize how dire this really is going to be for some people. And I received an email from one of my neighbors, and she asked me to keep her anonymous. Ma'am, I know who you are. My son does know your daughter. I know where you live. She points it out in her letter, but just briefly, and then I'll get right into her letter because I don't want to take up a lot of your time. I work from home. I'm a writer. I'm a social media content creator. We have well more than 1 million followers if you combine our YouTube channel and our Facebook page, Sick Twisted Humor. I can work from anywhere in the world anytime I want. And this has been the case for 15 years for me. I mean, I started it when I was living in the Philippines. I was over there for almost 6 years. I had to do it. I couldn't participate in the traditional economy with a traditional job because I was 9,000 miles away. So this is what I do. This is the niche I've carved out for myself, and we've done well. And I often forget how difficult and challenging life can be for people who are still working in the traditional economy and have traditional jobs and have to be somewhere. I will adjust my hours. I'm always up early. I'm up by 5 a.m. most days, year round. I always get a couple of hours of work in before my wife and kid even wake up. And then, of course, I could stay up later if need be, and I'm going to have plenty of time in the afternoons. But it's not going to be so simple for so many people. And with this, I'm going to get right into this letter because nobody can highlight this dilemma more than someone who's getting ready to go through it. This is tragic. This is tragic. This is because they've cut the busing system off for the rural country people. Oh. Dear Homesteading Off the Grid, please keep me anonymous. I want to thank you for the video you made regarding the busing situation for those of us who live more than just a few miles away from our children's school. I've seen your videos off and on through the years, and I thought I've seen you jogging and cycling out in my part of the country in the mornings, but I wasn't sure if it was you or not, but I guess I now know that we are close neighbors. I don't mean to sound disrespectful by pointing this out to you, because I am so grateful for your success in making people around the world aware of our dilemma, but I don't think you know exactly how hard this is going to hit some of us more than others. I know that you're a writer and a social media content creator. As a matter of fact, most of the videos of yours that I've watched are ones where you've read stories from some of the books you've written. I was fortunate enough to find you during the month of October a couple of years back, and I got to enjoy all of the Halloween-themed stories from your book, October Nights. I keep meaning to get a copy from Amazon so that I can read the stories again and again every October, but I keep putting it off. Side note, you don't need to. All right, let me hide your name because you want to remain anonymous. Here, I already autographed one for you. What's it say? It has your name. Thanks for the email. We'll get through this. And I signed it and dated it. As I mentioned earlier, I know who you are. I know where you live. I'm not going to bother you because I can't stand it when people see me out and just come over to ask me how I'm doing. That's a nosy neighbor's way of asking you what you're doing. I'm going to drop this off at your gate where the UPS guy, FedEx, USPS leaves your packages, I'm sure, just like they do mine. Look for it tomorrow, okay? I'm going to have something else there for you too, but let me finish your email here first. Anyway, my point is this. Yes, you are going to be putting in 20 hours per week driving your son to school this year, but the silver lining on the gray cloud for you is that you work from home. I'm not trying to minimize how you personally will be affected by this complete lack of competence by our county's school non-transportation director. I like how she worded that. But at least you'll be able to adjust your hours somehow to still get the necessary work you do in order to continue to support yourself and your family. For so many others of us, this is not going to be so simple. I'll use my case in point. My husband works for the county. He has for 20 years. I do not want to point out anything specific about his job because I do fear retribution. That's another reason I asked you to keep me anonymous at the beginning of this email. I made the choice years ago to stay at home and raise our 2 children. We have a son who is 20 and who graduated from the high school being affected by this situation. He is currently attending JMU, that's James Madison University over the mountain there in Harrisonburg. He's doing great and he's on pace to graduate on time, and when he does, he will be our family's first generation college graduate like you were yours. We couldn't be more proud of him. Our daughter is still in middle school, and this is where our dilemma comes in. Every morning, ever since she started kindergarten, I would wait with her in my car at the bus pickup at the end of our driveway, and as soon as she got on the bus, I would drive into town and work. I always got off just in time to be home about 15 minutes before her bus got home at the end of the day. As you know, the middle school days are longer than were the elementary school days, so for the past 2 years, I've been working an extra hour per day, which has helped our family situation tremendously, as we're helping our son as much as we can financially with his college so he doesn't graduate with all the student debt so many other young people are burdened with. When school starts in just a matter of days, we are going to be screwed. My husband is the key breadwinner in our family, and there is simply no way he can get the time away from work to drive our daughter to school each morning and to pick her up at the end of the day. As you know, her school is in the opposite direction of town where he works. That leaves me. Basically, if I drive our daughter, I'll have to go from working full-time at my job to only working part-time. My paycheck is literally going to be cut in half. So, I mean, folks, here we have it. Most families in America depend upon 2 incomes to make ends meet. And here's one right here who's just gotten their child's bus taken away from them. I talked to my boss about this, and she nearly cried for me. She told me she will bend over backwards to help me in any way she can, and she's assured me my job security is not in danger. However, we need every cent I currently earn working full-time. When my paycheck gets cut in half because our inept school system is not providing us busing any longer, my family is going to have to make a choice between continuing to help our son at JMU or pay our bills. And as bad as this sounds for us, we have friends out here for whom it's worse. We know one family who has 3 kids, 2 of which are being affected by this. And like your family, they are a 1 vehicle / 1 driver family. They are looking for a house to rent in the next county over, which means pulling their kids out of the school system and away from the friend group they've known for years. There is no other way they can think of to make their situation work. Neither of them are qualified to homeschool their children. Again, I didn't mean to come across as disrespectful by minimizing your situation in any way, but I wanted to highlight just how much more difficult this is going to be for so many of us who still have traditional jobs in the traditional economy. Oh, and we haven't even gotten into gas prices and the repair costs due to the wear and tear on our vehicles. I simply see no way in which the families affected by this irrational decision wins in this situation. Thank you again for bringing our plight to the public eye by way of your YouTube channel. By the way, I follow your Facebook page, Sick Twisted Humor, as well. Please lighten up on the blonde jokes, because I'm a blonde. Just kidding. I've always been able to laugh at myself because, as they say, if you can't laugh at yourself, how can you laugh at others? May God continue to bless you and your family and bring you continued success, and I pray that He will get our rural country families a bus for our children. Anonymous. All right, so there you have it, folks. I completely somehow, in my little rant last night, my 15-minute rant, talking about the insanity of this. Again, decision, according to the school official I spoke with by phone, based upon equity, all part of the woke agenda, which is destroying families across the country. I'm not going to go into further detail than that because I am still attempting to choose to avoid the culture war, to stay out of it, focus on my family. But I mean, it's hit too close to home now. I'll adjust. Mrs. Anonymous, you're a married woman. Along with October Nights, I'm also, it'll be tomorrow morning when I go into town. I'm going into town tomorrow. So by noon, it'll be there. I'm also leaving you a copy of The Lunatic. I wrote this a couple of years ago. This is basically the woke agenda in novel form and how insane it is and how it affects those who buy into it. The main character, that's me though. That's not the main character. That's like when I actually used to go see barbers. The main character has bought into woke. He, she, it, they, them, practices the woke agenda, and it shows how it literally drives them crazy, and they end up hating what they claim to love and loving what they claim to hate, and not knowing the difference between the two, and making a couple of very fatal mistakes. It's drama. It's not horror per se, but it is scary. There's a lot of adult language, a lot of adult situations. So if you don't get into curse words and adult situations, do not read this book. But if you do, The Lunatic, it is available in print and Kindle on Amazon, as well as my other books. And you can also buy autographed copies from me directly from our Etsy store. I will put the links to both of those places in the description box of this video. So folks, again, for those of you who are new to the channel and came by way of the video I made just yesterday of this asinine decision that the non-transportation director, as our author of our email there, wrote, I want to thank you for being here. This channel is a hodgepodge. Sometimes I'll come out and talk about real life issues like this, that affect me or us as a whole. A lot of times it's stories. A lot of times we walk around through the creepy woods looking for creepy things. But if you enjoy what you see here, please keep coming back. I do appreciate you. And again, to the person that sent me this email and the other 1,000 households out here, we'll get through this. We'll figure it out. Talk to your neighbors, figure out how to carpool. I'm in talks with a couple of mine. We're working something out. So we are going to minimize the pain, though painful it will be. Just hang in there, America. Okay, hang in there. We'll make it through this. We've seen worse. We'll see better days. They're ahead. They're not destroying us. They're uniting us, which has always made us stronger. See you next time for more.